Hello everyone, welcome to Analytics with Asmi. In this video we are going to see how to create a slicer pane in your reports. So let me close this first, and if you click on this filter, it's getting open and we can see the slicer pane. You can see here we have added the 4-5 slices over here. So if I click on any slicer, the report is getting changed. Okay. If I am changing the product name as also, you can see it is changing. So it's working perfectly. And for closing this pane, if you click on this icon, it is getting closed. So today we are going to create this slicer pane in our report. Before moving ahead, let's see what are the advantages of using the slicer pane in a report. First advantage is a space efficiency. It allows you to organize and display multiple slicers in a contained space, which can be beneficial when we deal with a large number of filters and categories. This makes report less cluttered. Second advantage is easy navigation. Slicer pane provides a convenient way for users to navigate and filter your data without having a hunt for an individual slicer scattered across the report. Third main advantage is enhanced insight. By using a slicer pane, user can gain a deeper insight into your data and the charts. In the last video, we have created the page navigation panel where we have added some icons and shapes. Then we created the bookmark, and finally we give the action to all the buttons. Here we have seen that we have created the 3 pages. So if you haven't seen my last video, please watch this video, then come to this video. This is the continuation of our last video. So in the last video we have added these 2 icons for the slicers. So in this video we will create a slicer pane. So let's start. So to create a slicer pane, the first step is to create a layout. So we will close this pane first, and first we will create a layout. So again we need to add the shape here. So you go to the insert here, then click this drop down, add a shape to your report, and again take the rectangle. Okay, so if you want to add 3 or 4 slicer, we can add here in this shape. Okay, so you can arrange it accordingly. Now we want to change the color as well. Okay, so we'll take the format, and here in the fill we will change the color, and we want to take the same color which will suit our theme. Okay, now the layout we have created. Now again we have to create one triangle here so that it should show that the slicer is getting open. So again we'll go to the shape here, and I will take triangle here. Yeah, this triangle, and I will change the color to the orange, and I don't want border here, and I have to change the rotation. So I will change it to 270 degree. Okay, and I will make it small. So that it should fit to our shape. Okay, now like this. Yeah, now you can see it is flagging this slicer. Okay, now we have to create some slicers here. So for that we have to import the data. So I have already imported the data here. Okay, you can see here in the view, here in the data, you can see here this is our data sales. Okay, so we have to create some slicer here. The first slicer we are going to create here is a date slicer. So what I will do, I will create a hierarchy here. That's it. And and I will go to the home here, and in the visual gallery we'll take a slicer. Okay, and here we'll add this date. Okay, now you take this and put here in the slicer. Now we'll do little formatting. For that, again we'll go to the format, and here we'll change the slider color. If we change orange, we'll keep it black. Okay, and the values is fine. Slicer header, slicer setting in between, and we have to change the background here. So I need to check where it is. Background is given shadow. Yeah, this is background. I will put it off. Okay, so first slicer is done. Now next slicer we are going to create is a country slicer. So again go to the data here and go to the visual gallery. We'll select our slicer, and here we are going to add here the country. Okay, and we'll go to the format and we'll change the slicer setting, and we'll keep it tile. Okay, and we'll make it minimize here, and again here we will put off. I will take first here and we'll put here, and I will put off the background. Okay, and let's see if we can change the color here. Font color is black. Okay, and border we want background is no background. Okay, if we change the background to black, yeah, but we have to change the values. Then here we'll take the semi bold and we'll take white. Okay, now it's looking better. So this is our second slicer. Now we are going to add the third slicer. So third slicer will be our segment slicer. So again what we are going to do, we will go here, add the slicer, and here we are going to add the segment. Okay, and we'll go to format here, and format we want a drop down part. Okay, we'll take this and we'll put here, and again we will do little formatting. So formatting, again we'll put the background off, and that's it. You can do more formatting, like add the title and all these things. I am not doing it right now. Okay, and the final slicer we are going to create is a product name. Okay, so I am just adding 3-4 slicers so that you will come to know how to create it. So again one more slicer here, and we'll add the product name. Okay, and again we'll go to the format here. We'll change the size setting to drop down here. Okay, we'll take here, I will put here, and background off again, and that's it. Okay, so we are done with our slicer. We have created the slicer pane. Now in the last video we have created the selection. We have grouped it all the objects. The same way here we have to do. So for that, again what we'll do, we'll go to the view here and go to the selection pane. Okay, here you can see we have all these shapes and slicers. So we will name them quickly. So let's hide it, and first slicer will be our product name. So I will write here product slicer. Product slicer. Second slicer is our segment slicer. So double click segment slicer. Okay, third slicer is country slicer. Double click right here, country slicer. Next slicer is date slicer. Double click, and you have to name all the objects here, date slicer, so that you can group it properly. Okay, this is a, and the shape is small rectangle, so double click here, a rectangle. It will be easy for you to create a bookmark. And last shape is our, so this was a rectangle and this was a triangle. And this is rectangle. Okay, now we will group this. So again, what we'll do, we will select all these so that we can create a group for all this. Click the right of the mouse and create a group, and we will give the name as a slicer pane. Okay, now let's unhide all the menu bar and navigation pane. Okay, so it is done. Now third step is to create a bookmark for the slicer pane. Okay, so the first step was we have created the layout first. Second step was we have created the selection groups, and the third step is now to create a bookmark for opening and closing of a slicer pane. Okay, so for that, now it is open. So first we will create a bookmark for slicer open. So we will select our slicer pane. Okay, go to the bookmark. Here add the bookmark. We will rename it as slicer open. Okay, and just click these three dots. Here you have to check these selected visuals. Okay, and you have to update. Here we are not unchecking the data. In the last video, for all the bookmarks we have unchecked this because it was not required. But for this we want this data to be updated when we click on the slicer. Okay, when it should be dynamic. So that's why we are not unchecking it. We want it, so it should be checked. First we have to just update here. So it's done. Now for slicer close. So again go to the selection pane. We will close this. We will select this. Go to the bookmark. Create slicer close. Slicer close. Check open. Click these three dots. Here only selected visuals and just update it. Okay. Now if we toggle on this, slicer open, slicer close, slicer open, slicer close. So it is done perfectly. Now we have to give the action to these buttons for these bookmarks. So let's do that in the fourth step. Now we will give action to these two icons so that when we click on this it will get open, and when we click on the second slicer it will get closed. Okay, so what we'll do here, we will select this icon. Okay, and go to the format here. Okay, here in the action you have to make it on, and here type you have to take the bookmark, and bookmark you have to take slicer open here. Okay, and same we have to do for the slicer close. So we'll select here on, select the bookmark, here bookmark, slicer close. Now let's check it if it is done or not. So slicer open. Now click control, slicer close, slicer open, slicer close. So this is how we can create a slicer pane. Now let's check for the data. So now we'll create one visual here. Just take one visual and we'll take data. Here we'll take customer name and we'll take the sales here. Okay, and if we check for the slicer, I'm clicking the Canada here. Now you can see it's working. Okay, if we select the segment here, corporate, it's working. Home, office, working. So it's working perfectly. So this is how we can create a slicer pane. Hope you understood how to create a page navigation pane and a slicer pane. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.